I would start with a very, very basic fact. Very basic fact. நிறைய பேருக்கு டிசிஷன் எடுக்கிறது, it's like the fear of decision making sets in. A man is discussing normally, casual conversation. If you suddenly throw this question as, what if you would have to take this decision? Or what is the situations like this? Then what sort of a decision would you take? They get into a fear mode. And statistics says that like how people experience fear of the height, fear of darkness, fear of stage speaking, there is also fear of decision making. இது வெளியில யாரும் ரொம்ப சொல்றது கிடையாது. ஏன்னா தன்னை பத்தி குறைவா யாராவது நினைச்சிருவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வெளியில it's not discussed. But this is the biggest fear. Now let's go a little bit into why this fear. Because every fear has a reason which is prompting that emotion called fear. இங்க டிசிஷன் மேக்கிங் பண்ணாமல் இருக்கிறதுக்கு அல்லது ஒரு டிசிஷன் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு ஃபியர் இருக்குது அப்படின்னா, வாட்ஸ் தட் எமோஷன் which is prompting that fear? The emotion is, what if my decision goes wrong? What will people feel and say about a decision that I took which went south? மூளையிலேன்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்களா, அல்லது நம்ம எடுக்கிற முடிவை யாருமே நாளைக்கு நம்ப மாட்டாங்களா, அல்லது நமக்கே அதுல ஒரு தோல்வி வந்துருச்சுன்னா, அந்த ஒரு முடிவின் பால் ஒரு தோல்வி வந்துருச்சுன்னா என்ன பண்றது அப்படின்ற திங்கிங்னால the fear sets in. Now let's put it this way. Fear is not going to cure things. And somebody else deciding for you is, for starters, a bad decision. நம்ம முடிவெடுக்கிறதுக்கு பதிலாக இன்னொருத்தரை முடிவெடுக்க சொல்றோம். நம்மளுடைய சாவியை இன்னொருத்தட்ட கொடுக்குறோம். பூட்டி என்னன்னே தெரியாம இன்னொருத்தட்ட சாவியை கொடுத்து தொறன்னா அவருக்கு தெரிஞ்ச மாதிரி திறப்பாரு, உங்களுக்கு தேவையான மாதிரி திறந்து தர மாட்டாரு. So you have to get into the act of decision making. Decision making will lead to mistakes also. So what about it? எந்திரிச்சோன்னா ஒரு குழந்தை ஓடிடலையே, பிறந்தோன்னு நடக்கும்போது தவறி விழுந்து எந்திரிச்சு தானே வருது. அதே மாதிரி decision making also, you have to understand that people have all fallen. They still continue to fall. There's no man who will be able to say that he takes all the best decisions in the world and he's never failed. That's wrong. It's never the case. So the worst decision is not taking a decision. And I எப்பவுமே சொல்லுவேன் to our team, whenever we discuss, I'll say, don't be on crossroads. Let's take a decision here. If we're going to say, I want to decide later, what's that later? Fix பண்ணுங்க, நாளைக்கு, அடுத்த வாரம். Fix a date to it, because you need time to get your data in place to take a decision. Delaying a decision indefinitely is wrong, but delaying a decision with a definite date is right. In short, decision making, the success of it is the success of the family, success of the business, or any organization. Anything depends upon the type of sound decisions you take. And in the decision making, நம்ம ரைட்டா எடுக்கிறோமோ தப்பா எடுக்கிறோமோ, it's not a problem. What's the problem is not understanding why a decision went right or why a decision went wrong. So, of course, Geeta apatha sonnanga, you need to do a pre-mortem and not a post-mortem. True. But I'm saying, please get on to the fact that you need to have your lessons learned intact. So pre-mortem is to plan why you are taking a given decision. Spread your basic facts out. Decide who to speak to, what data you need, what's your objective. Idellam plan pannikkenga, put it on the table. But having taken a decision, then after that, whether it's successful or not, it's very important that you take the understanding into mind, because நீங்க எப்படி நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கிறீங்களோ அதை வச்சு தான் உங்களுடைய efficiency and accomplishment of the next decision is going to bank on. So I would seriously say, get onto this. And while we are on this, as a last point, let's talk about something called feedback box. There's something called feedback box, and it's 3 points. You can break it into 3 aspects. ஒரு முடிவு எடுத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு ஃபீட்பேக் வேணும், ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் ஃபீட்பேக் வேணும். அந்த ஃபீட்பேக்கை 3 பாகமா பிரிச்சுக்கலாம். The first part is supposed to be the complement part. எடுத்த முடிவு எப்படிப்பட்ட முடிவு, நல்ல முடிவு. Somebody is patting you on your shoulders. You deserve it. Please take the pat gracefully. But, very important, but learn to differentiate between a compliment and a praise. Very important. You don't need yes men. You need the compliment. You need a person to compliment, a team to compliment. Accept it. If it's praising, please control it. Not required, because adu tappana direction la kondu poidum. So compliment for C. Next, A. I would say you need to have a team that will give you an advice. You need to have an advisory team. அவங்க சொல்றதெல்லாம் நீங்க கேட்டுக்கிறதுக்கு இல்ல, பட் கண்டிப்பா you will want to bounce your ideas. I'm talking about complex decision making. So complex decision making, நம்ம ஒரு சிந்தனையில போய்கிட்டு இருப்போம். அதுதான் கரெக்ட்னு நம்ம நம்புவோம். அது கரெக்டா இருக்கலாம். அது கரெக்டானா அல்லது அந்த ஒரு டிசிஷன்ல 2-3 ரூட்ஸ் இருக்குதா? திங்க் டேங்க்ஸ் தேவை. So it's very important to have a right advisory team with you. யாரை கேட்குறீங்கன்றது முக்கியம், யாரை கேட்கக்கூடாதுன்றது முக்கியம். And let's understand, everybody has a viewpoint. நம்ம ஊர்ல பாலிடிக்ஸ்னு எடுத்துங்க, everybody has a viewpoint. Cricket, everybody has a viewpoint. How to run a state, everybody has a viewpoint. How to run your organization, somebody else will have a viewpoint. But if he or she had a viewpoint on how to run their organization, that's decision. If they have a viewpoint on how somebody else is to run their organization, that's somebody else's organization, it's just talk in the air. So who are you going to take your advice from? Who's that think tank? Adha mudivu pannunga. C, this is the A part of it. And the third C is very critical. Criticism. You need to have a constructive criticism program in place. நமக்கே தாந்தோணித்தனமா ஒரு முடிவு எடுத்துடலாம்ன்ற ஒரு சிந்தனை வந்துட்டா அந்த முடிவு தப்பாத்தான் இருக்கும். We are answerable to a team. Okay? We are answerable to a team அப்படின்னா உங்களுடைய முடிவுகள் it will have its own checks and balances. So that's very, very important. And this is what I call as the feedback box or feedback to CAC. இதுல நீங்க அனலைஸ் பண்ணி இந்த ஒரு மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்டா. So decision making is not art, it's science. Which means if you break it down into steps and start looking at how to take it, how to move forward, then even a complex decision can be made simple. இதை நம்ம புரிஞ்சுக்கல அப்படின்னம்னா even the most simple decisions we can complicate it. Okay, so இதை நம்ம மைண்ட்ல வச்சிட்டோம்னா half of it is one. பாதி விஷயத்தை நம்ம தாண்டிட்டோம், பாதி போராட்டத்தை மீறிட்டோம்ன்ற மாதிரி ஆயிடும். மீதி உள்ள போராட்டம் அல்லது மீதி உள்ள சேலஞ்ச் அப்படின்றது it depends upon the implementation. I can probably add an example to the decision making that we take just to throw some light on it. COVID, lockdown. India first lockdown, 2020, March 24th, there is a lockdown. லாக்டவுன்னா என்னன்னே தெரியாது. அப்போ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு வார்த்தையை நம்ம சந்திச்சது கிடையாது. திடீர்னு லாக்டவுன்ற ஒரு பேச்சு வரும்போது we are deeply into a particular vertical called leasing vertical. That's a very important vertical for the VNCT Group. அப்படி இருக்கும்போது leasing verticalனா you have factory spaces, retail spaces, residential spaces, office spaces, warehouse spaces throughout India on lease mode where we have leased it. அப்ப lockdown அப்படின்னு சொன்னா are you going to get the lease rental or no? வருமா வராதா, எப்ப வரும், எவ்வளவு வரும்? It's like a big maze suddenly, and this is totally a new experience. We decided that we will apply the empathetic thought process. The decision was take an empathetic decision. Put yourself in that side. Rather than saying, will I get it? We said, change. During lockdown, we had multiple con calls. Adala, we took this decision. Let's change our stand from being a receiver to being a payer. If you're going to pay, how would you feel? What should your call be? Would you want somebody to be empathetic out there? Not sympathetic. Nobody wants sympathy. Do you need to be empathetic, or are you going to stick by the rule book? And we said we will have to be empathetic. And we took that decision. I won't get into the details, but let me tell you this. The reason why we said we will be empathetic was we felt we wanted to be treated that way. And therefore we said, let's treat all of our clients that way. It's been a roaring success. That decision was a huge success. So how you take decisions, how informed decisions you take. Nobody forced us to take this decision. Nobody even forced the situation on us. But we had decided on this by the first week of April, we had made our minds up. So that's to tell you how you start taking decisions and whom you consult with and how you therefore move forward in life.